Alright, now this is going to be cut off from the first part of the video and the audio removed and tacked on to yesterday's project, which didn't finish because the computer hung on me. So, to begin, thank you, fellow travelers, for watching Farewell to Playmate's World. And the question to be asked is, why this video? Why Farewell to Playmate's World, and why Playmate's World? Well, the simple answer to that last part is I'm an idiot, and when I was typing in the name in the name box, I put the apostrophe before the S instead of after the S, since the plan was originally to name a few dozen bases on the planet after ladies of the 70s, 80s, and 90s who appeared in Playboy. The longer answer is, well, while we're quote-unquote past the midlife crisis, apparently you don't grow wiser as you grow older, and that was basically stupid and immature of my part. And why do I say that? Well, in order to answer that, I need to backtrack just a little bit. At the beginning of June, my PlayStation 4 died. The hard drive just went belly up. It was plugged into a fairly old UPS, literally my first UPS. Its job was just to keep the PlayStation and TV alive long enough for me to, via the controller, shut down the PlayStation and then shut off the TV. And it wasn't doing that anymore. And I've gone through at least 2 sets of batteries in it. I've refurbished it. The electricity leaves something desired. It drops once in a while, it comes back. So it might have been a power surge, or, as the PlayStation loves to tell you, we're fixing the hard drive since it was shut down improperly. Well, something must have really gone wrong one way or the other, and whatever it was so severe, it propagated to the external drive that was plugged into the PlayStation 4. I lost half the games I had on that. They were reinstallable from library, and the PlayStation 4 is once again working with a new hard drive, literally 2 terabytes, so I doubled the amount of storage. So pretty much every PlayStation 4 game that is in the library and for which I do not have a disc is on the PlayStation 4, no exception. Any new PlayStation 4 games that I digitally acquire still have some room on the 2 drives, so they're probably going to go there, assuming they're small games. So that's what triggered things to happen. So part of the process of reinstalling everything is, at one point I discovered that there was no uploads for No Man's Sky on my second profile, Esteban Peral, which is technically speaking my name in Spanish, as opposed to my main profile, which is George Lucas Lied. And what did Mr. Lucas lie about? Well, when asked by a reporter from Entertainment Tonight, probably one of the best reporter questions ever asked of an important, between quotation marks, figure, was, now that Lucasfilms was an established studio, how was he different from the older studios? And Mr. Lucas replied, without missing a beat, that he would never act like the big studios. And then proceeded to wait 2 or 3 times the amount of time between the first and second movie to come out with the third movie, which he didn't make for everyone, didn't even make for his fans, made for his children, and fired his screenwriter and fired the person who had edited the first 2 movies, and probably saved them in the edit room, just betraying the fact that he was no different than any other big studio exec, an arrogant SOB. Hence, he lied. Having said that, so my original campaign was on George Lucas Lite. It was set on the normal setting, so I was playing with my cousin, and he, for reasons I don't get sometimes, just loves the default setting. Not interested in doing campaigns on easy, or in this case, creative, which might have saved him a lot of grief. But by the same token, we'll never do campaigns on hard or veteran or, permadeath. So, having gotten the construction bug, and not realizing you could have multiple save campaigns in the game, I went to the second profile on my PlayStation 4 and, started a new game. And after going through half a dozen planets, try to find a paradise world, restart, finally gave up and accepted the very nice but cold planet I found myself on. Had a pretty horrific name, and I had a moment where I decided, let's call it Playmate's World, as opposed to, call it the Grotto, call it Iceland, call it Hoth. So anyway, the end result was, the next inspiration was, hey, let's name the first base after Alison Eastwood. And I'm going to pause right now because the cell phone is ringing. Back in a moment. All right, that was my alarm clock, second alarm clock, I should say, reminding me to get out of bed and go to work on weekdays. This is not the case for Sundays. My due to scheduling errors, I'm one of the rare weekends I'm off. So, anyway, at one point discovered that there's a maximum of 16,000 parts, and you just can't build more than that, which caused a certain reduction in size of bases. But I'd done a dozen or so. Alison Eastwood, Ali Baguette, Barbara Edwards, Deanna Baker, Debbie Davis, Alyssa Bridges, Esther Cordet, Heather Christensen, and the Porto triplets from Brazil, I believe, Lilian, Maries, and Renata. And due to the fact that my cousin had decided to stop playing the game, I changed the settings on the original campaign to creative and basically went whole hog on building stuff, which at point discovered there was that 16,000 base limit. So to a certain extent ignored what was going on with Playmate's World. And then we get to the crux of our story. The PlayStation packed it in, and I started discovering things like, hey, you don't have the bases uploaded to cloud. You don't have the save uploaded to cloud. And of course, the save has disappeared with the computer packing it in. I did make a video, service announcement type thing, reminding people to back up their saves. In the case of the PlayStation, I don't know if it's the same thing with the Xbox, that's not so evident. You can back up your entire PlayStation on a stick it in another PlayStation, and transfer everything. Except the files are a bunch of numbers and letters. There's no descriptors. So you can't go, I'm going to go to this profile, I'm going to go to this game, I'm going to transfer this save. And since by the time I actually found the USB stick, it was in the desk drawer as opposed to in the computer room, I'd already been playing with both the PlayStation 5 and the refurbished, repaired PlayStation 4, and found myself in a position of, well, I could possibly accidentally wipe out the progress I'd done in various games. So I decided to bite the bullet and spent the $12 to get PlayStation Plus on my second profile, Esteban Peral, only to find out that there is no uploaded, because apparently you can't use the download from the cloud unless you use the PlayStation Plus. And I swear to God, just as recent as a year ago, you needed only one per machine to be able to access the various services related to it, as opposed to one per account, which is just really, really, really stupid on the part of Sony. And if that's the case, then other Sony products I may simply just not purchase or acquire. Anyway, so I found myself in a situation where anything and everything related to No Man's Sky for Esteban Peral is non-existent. I don't have the saves. I can't even start the campaign. So, in desperation to, just go check out the bases, I decided to dial in the portal using one of my travelers from George Lucas Live. I actually did it twice with two of the game saves, and arrived on planet. And while I half expected the portal not to be there because I didn't remember how simple the portal at Elisa Bridges was, the portal base I should say, it's a cuboid room in the middle of the woods, roughly 100 U's away from the portal. I don't think it's interfering with the portal, therefore would not fail to render. But started having a look around and not getting base icons. Now, if you've ever gone to some random planet, you're doing a quest, you're doing a Nexus mission, you're chasing some Sentinel ships, you can easily have a couple dozen bases on a world, and you can just jump from base to base to base. It's not a problem. I get two icons in the system. One is for a base that's off planet and therefore had a different naming scheme, and the other one is Kara Wakeland. And well, I arrive at Kara Wakeland and the base is buried. It was a natural cave. I put the landing pad over the opening. They're leaving a little space, dug out a little bit of it to make it a slope, put in some stairs, and then I got stupid. And instead of building a building over the hole with a door, I decided to put a glass panel right over the hole. So you start going down the stairs, and once you've gone a flight and a half of stairs down, you have the glass panel over your head acting as a roof. Very beautiful. One little problem. It's been roughly at least 2 months since I've been at this base, and Mother Nature reclaimed the entrance, so you can't get in. So, in desperation, I go to the local space station and check other bases, because after all, this is my George Lucas Live profile, so these bases are not mine. And there's the one base on the other planet, and there's Kara Wakeland. All the other bases are gone. Now, I can't believe that I failed to upload all the bases. No, sorry. And I have video evidence that I've at least uploaded a couple of them because, well, you just watched the video with me. A couple times I go to the base computer and upload whatever modification I just did to the base. So, and somehow my PlayStation 4 croaking would not affect Hello Games servers. So something happened, and I'm guessing somebody complained. And they must have complained directly to Hello Games, not to Sony, because Sony, there's no comment. I mean, you name a base, Debbie Davis, well, you do a search on Google, you're going to get a lot of people beside the Playmate. And even if you do, I mean, I'm sorry, but, you know, wow, it's a 1970s Playmate. It's very tame. No, I don't know what happened. But anyway, I'm guessing somebody complained, and Caraway Clint somehow just got missed. Everything else got wiped out. It's the only explanation I have, the only thing that fits what I see, because I don't see how the PlayStation 4 dying would have affected, the games on Hello Games. And in light of the fact that the critters have just arrived in large numbers and it's a mission about feeding the animals, I will leave you at that. Cheers. Farewell, travelers.